back to the House of L. I am joined now by longtime friend of the show, longtime friend of me, Mr. Bryan Q. Miller. How are you, sir?
Good. We started dating long ago.
I'm waiting for that ring. I don't know if it's ever.
Well, there was a writer's strike, Derek. So
how long are you going to hold on to that one?
until someone takes me back to work.
Just a little longer.
Just a little bit.
Just a hair. How's it going?
It is good. It is good. I have my little my wee 5-year-old is in here in the almost 6 in the room with me right now. So if I seem distracted, 5 and 11 12. That's right, buddy.
He's got it.
He's got it.
He's so close.
But good. I'm good. I am good for about 2 minutes and 2 seconds yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The world didn't suck.
Is that right?
So yeah.
Tell me about it.
And then I repeated that 2 minute and 2 seconds when I was walking the dog, or when I was making a poop, or whatever it was. At least 5 or 6 more times yesterday.
I saw we are talking about the Superman trailer for the uneducated. I saw this morning the count was at like 25 million or something. And I told somebody, I was like, well, that's good, but I mean, when you think, I amassed 1 million of those myself, so that's not. Those are. I mean, I don't. That's Bush League.
I don't get the. I guess I get the derision. Like, it's been 24 hours, right? So there's a lot of, and I'm on the TikTok, and I watch the TikToks,
mm-hmm.
and so there's people like dissecting it and angry about it or whatever, and it's like. What? Okay, I don't get that, but all right. I guess everything's going to not be for everyone, but like somebody accused it of ticking off boxes.
Yeah.
I'm like, good.
Yeah.
It should be ticking off boxes. Like, absolutely.
At this point, there are many unchecked over the years.
We have done the round at the course where there were not boxes checked off, and suddenly boxes were being checked off that we didn't know were boxes.
Yeah.
And so if this is just even in the trailer ticking off boxes, I'm like, great. Mm-hmm. Like Guy Gardner has a terrible haircut. Great.
Dude,
like I'm
spot on.
He should have a terrible haircut.
He should look like an idiot at all times. You and I share kinship in our enjoyment of Superman and treatment therein and how he should be treated. And I mean, as a fan, I'm always trepidatious when something new gets announced.
Yep. Because
we've been burned before. We've gotten so close and then, had something taken away from us at the last minute. I fully admit I felt like a baby with keys being jingled in front of me yesterday each time I watched it. And that's not a bad thing.
You know what though? Who jingles the keys in front of us anymore, Derek? Nobody jingles keys in front of us. So I will gladly watch the keys jingle jangle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That score, and I merge into that to say one of the highlights of this past year was getting to go with you to the Los Angeles Philharmonic.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And again, a lovely invitation. Thank you. And a lovely evening.
It was a fantastic evening. That was when I thought the ring was coming, but that's fine. But
writer strike. Look, I said it then. I'll say I'm gonna keep saying it.
But that score is emotionally manipulative anyway. I mean, it's difficult to listen to it and not evoke something. And as a fan, or even if just a fan of orchestral music, it's a phenomenal piece by Williams. All of it, the whole thing, not just the march, but the entire score. So it was watching the Philharmonic perform that on stage alongside Superman the movie, swelling, and it's emphatic and it's standing ovations, and it's hard to walk away from that not feeling something.
I liked from that, and you could see it from where we were. The conductor had his playback monitor where he had the little blips for the tempo, like so he could keep I just thought that was, I'd never seen that before, and I know they existed, like when you're on a scoring stage and stuff.
Yeah.
But I hadn't actually gotten to see one in person before. I was like, oh, that was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. And so going into, and there's been a lot of talk on whether or not the Williams theme would be used in this, and I maintain, I feel like a long time ago, it kind of surpassed being the Donner era music and the Reeve music because it is so ingrained in pop culture.
It's like James Bond. It's like or Mission Impossible. Like
exactly.
it's just
that's Superman.
Or the Alexander Courage, the fanfare at the top of, like when one of the Star Trek shows runs
right
on Paramount now, and they have that swell, and it's the ship that goes by, and it's a Star Trek. It's what you expect to hear when this is Star Trek. My eyes are closed. I'm in the other room. There's Star Trek playing. Let me go run into the room.
Well, and it's been not just in. I mean, obviously now it's been used. Smallville, obviously, and I think of like Lego Batman, and there's been so many other instances where it's been utilized, and a lot of those are references to and homages to Donner and Reeve and all that, but there's so many other times in the last 20, 30 years that it's just been used in a TV show or in a commercial or in, something else that's not necessarily... Goonies, yeah. I mean, Seinfeld, I mean, just the amount of times that it gets referenced and, it becomes this, that's Superman. Like, it's not, I don't necessarily... I automatically think Christopher Reeve or Margot Kidder when I hear it, but I think Superman always.
Well, and I don't know that I like there are ways like suddenly when it pops up in like the Whedon cut of Justice League or whatever, like when then you're like, oh wait, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Like suddenly you're just like that's antithetical to everything you've done for 3 movies.
Right.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way about not quite the same, but like the Danny Elfman Batman score. I think it's a little bit more specific in time to a certain kind of Batman. Like, so what's different with where you're like, oh, I'm getting that approach to Batman in what I'm hearing that versus like, nope, that's the Superman score. That's what you're supposed to hear when you see Superman do things.
No, I agree with that. So when hearing it in that trailer, and of course we got little taste of it on Monday in that motion poster, so we kind of felt like we knew what we were getting into. And I've heard everybody's take from, oh, this is Laura singing this is a lullaby to Cal when they're putting him in the ship. To, it's actually it's Martha, humming it to him as a baby and rocking him or whatever. So I felt like we knew what was coming once we heard that, and the arrangement John Murphy has done on it. I mean, really, it's a thankless job and it's not to say that there's not been other finely done themes. I mean, the Febre's, all the Smallville score worked really well for that, and obviously they had weave into the Williams because of the place and where it stood in time and all that, and the score for Superman and Lois was really well done. I think that was one of the
even the Zimmer stuff for Man of Steel, like whether or not like for a sci-fi take on Superman, right? If you look at it that way, then you're like, oh no, that lines up with how that should, because that's the approach of this piece is that. So of course it should have that ethereal synthy kind of stuff to it. And I think you can have both. Like, I don't know, like if even if the Murphy stuff is just like a piece, or like you and I had texted about earlier, like it's on the road to the new theme, like it's the swell into, fine. Yeah. Like it's okay. Just let things not suck for the runtime of the movie. Yeah. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like it's,
I mean, the return score is fantastic, and they weren't even going to hardly get into, I mean, they were going to, reference it. I think Ottman has said in that score, but I mean, the way that they actually made it the baseline for everything and built on it was phenomenal.
It was like a little warm bottle of milk.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes. Yeah. It was just nostalgic enough, but also made it its own thing, which I enjoyed. That being said, when that electric guitar came in, I was done. Like, you were not going to get me away from that screen once that started. It was a thankless job to try and make me think otherwise that was not going to be, that we were not in for 2 minutes and however many 20 seconds
Yeah.
of sheer fun.
Well, you know what it also, because since I watched it so many times yesterday, it also, when it starts up, reminds me of Top Gun.
Yes.
Like, and I don't, for whatever reason, I'm like, okay, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like,
Mm-mm.
there's just something about it where I'm like, okay, if we're doing a little more of like a Top Gunny kind of approach to soups, I'm fine with that too. Like, good, okay.
It feels that way, and I mean, I even read one of the interviews that came out Monday. I don't know if it was from somebody international press or that was actually on the Warner lot for the event, but Gunn actually said that some of the flying sequences are he pretty much took from Maverick, with drones and everything. I mean,
Good.
that was
I
how
mean,
they.
it's why not? Like,
Yeah.
use every tool at your disposal to make sure this one works. Like, because so much has not worked. So, like, get this one to work. Because it's the thankless job, but also there's so much, whether it's official or unofficial or whatever, just riding on like this being successful in every possible way.
Hmm.
Like, it has to be commercially successful. It has to sell the Happy Meals, like more than any of the other ones have ever had to
Yeah.
do. A kind of like, you have to prove that, oh, for quad, people will be, hold up, I got an email from, but people will be coming to see it, and if they all come to see it and they come to see it multiple times, like, then it's viable.
Right.
And you kind of need this one to be viable, and at least so far it looks viable.
This is something you and I have talked about for the better, what, 15 years? I don't know, however long we've known each other by this point. But it's not that hard to get right. It's not.
No, I mean, and I feel like, I don't know, like, I feel like I'm biased because, like, I've come up through an environment that has allowed me to play with those toys in
Mhm.
that sandbox, and so not everybody gets to do that. So I think there's a lot of Monday morning quarterback kind of stuff that can
Right.
happen with adaptation, but because so much, like, you've got the He-Man stuff behind me, right? Like, there's so much with adaptation now, that I feel like everyone kind of thinks, oh, well, it should be like this because I've Rorschach ink blotted in my head how this is supposed to be. And so you can't really win all the time, but I think there are basic tenets or themes or feelings or tones that if you get it, you get it, and other people will get it when you do it.
Right.
Um, and it's not, some things are not strong enough to have that. Some things are not firm enough to have that, or they're not old enough to have that. And I feel like Superman has been around long enough that it does have that.
You obviously you joined Smallville as a writer's assistant back in season 5, so it was 2005.
Unpaid intern
Unpaid
in
intern,
2005.
excuse me.
I
Unpaid
did
intern.
not receive benefits aside from having air conditioning until 2008. No,
You
2007, because I was an assistant during the strike. So that's when I was an assistant. So 2005 and 06,
you had air
I was
conditioning.
there for free.
You had air
And air conditioning.
conditioning and a parking spot. Didn't have your name on it, but you had a parking
I
spot.
didn't have a parking. Well, I parked.
You parked.
I parked. Yes,
There was a
I
lot.
parked.
There was a lot at Warner in which you could park your vehicle.
Yes, and then when I became a writer, then I was allowed to park a level higher.
There you go. That's what it takes.
So
So
yes.
coming on in season 8 with your first writing credit, what was kind of your take to that whole philosophy of it's not that hard to do this to get
I
him
mean,
right.
it was also like we were lining up in the show, because it wasn't like it was the first year of the show.
Right.
So it was also in a way it was, because for the first time we were playing the Metropolis majority of the show. Like, he was at the planet. We were doing stuff in Metropolis. We had our little three block triangle
Hmm.
Metropolis set. And so it was just much more of a grown up kind of Rizzolian Isles procedural tone, rather than the kid stuff. And I think honestly that helped in a way, kind of, because you're carving away. So, okay, we're past that stuff now, and now it's about big city journalist ethical dilemmas. What do I do with my power? Like, it felt a little more um, of the piece. Not that the first, like, Jesus, 7 years before that didn't. But as far as like in my brain, when I'm like, what are the like we say, what are the tenets of Superman, right? Like it's you can't help but go back to the Donner movie, right? Like
Mm.
it's not the first hour of the movie; it's the second hour and a half of the movie.
Yeah.
And I love the first hour of the movie. But try to watch that with one of your kids now, and they're like, "Where is Superman?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's happening?"
I had a friend
Um,
ask me the other day. They were like, "I haven't seen it since I was a kid, and I want to show it to my son." And I think he's 5, and I said, "Good
Get
luck." I
that
said,
first
"Good
hour.
luck."
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's. I mean, it really is what 58 minutes before he takes flight in the fortress, or something to that.
Yeah,
I mean, not
it's
maybe
a
not that
bit.
long, but
It's a bit,
it's
and then you get the montage, and then it goes in, and you get it right away, and you're like, "Here's your Superman. You get Superman. You get Superman."
yeah.
But it does take a beat to get there, and I also don't know that you could get away with that now. Like
Mm-mm.
you got to have him, even like the I guess you could say like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man like went a little bit too long without the suit in the first movie,
It's been
like
years since
because
I've watched that, but yeah.
it's a lot of CWing around for like the first I want to say like 45. I could be wrong, but it felt I guess longer than before he gets to the Spider-Man of it. So I feel like you do want to get to super feats
Yeah.
and the S shield sooner than the Donner movie does, and I love the Donner movie, but in that is a beautiful thing and it is a lovely first hour and whatever,
It
but
is.
also um, I don't think it gets to the point as fast as it could maybe.
It doesn't, but I mean, back then it didn't have to.
You didn't have
You
to.
didn't
You
have
didn't have
to.
to. Absolutely. No, absolutely.
You weren't. The kid wasn't already looking for an iPad at that point. I mean, it
Yep.
was.
Yep.
And you feel that in that the thematics of the entire Jor-El monologue as the score starts building toward that moment. I mean, it's a huge payoff that gets you into that montage. I loved when we went to see it at Walt Disney Concert Hall that we got through. Intermission was right after the montage. I think it was right after
Yeah.
the Air Force One save, the "Don't Look, Just Fly," and then we
Yeah.
cut. So it was a huge, triumphant,
Yep.
pause right there to before we came back.
Was it the Air Force One or was it the helicopter?
No, it was because I think because the cat happens and the boat happens. I think we got through all that because I think as soon as we came back, it was Otis.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So knowing that you said about kind of being in the back half of the show once you were situated there, if you had to do it over, is there a different era of the show you would have liked to have? Would you have enjoyed writing for the first 4 seasons or 5 seasons?
Oh,
More?
of course. I mean, I feel like the growing pains really, and this is just with fresh eyes, 15 years on or whatever, like are those middle couple of seasons where it's just like, okay, well, we're not 14 anymore
Mm-hmm.
and we're not in the big city. So it's the like Buffy did it too, where it's like we're gonna go to college, except that nobody likes going to college.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to stick with the college thing. And how is college different enough from high school? Like it's just it's a trick. It's tricky with the high school stuff. So like I feel like there's a lot that I like in 5, 6, 7, but I feel like 1, 2, or 3 must have been an exciting time to just be in there and start just like
Mm-hmm.
learning how to like play with the interpretation and what were you going to keep and what were you going to throw out and what were you going to build to or ignore or hint at. So I think probably 1, 2, and 3.
I was talking about this the other day. Ryan Rosenbaum's friend from Talkville came on the show and we were talking about season 3 because he had really enjoyed season 3 episodes, and we were talking about Whisper, the super hearing episode, and how those early legacy episodes when it was still trying out the FX and still trying out the
Down the ear canal.
and like, nope, that's not gonna work.
No.
We can't use that
Every time we're going to do that every time. Yeah.
Not only does it kill a good 45 seconds, but
No, I mean, we had that. I don't even remember what we settled on for it. Like, I remember just all of the debate around microvision because I got to do microvision
Yes, you did.
like for the first time. And He's like, I call it whatever I want. Like, it was because I was just so tired of us talking about it. And then the line stayed through. And it's like, well, what do we do? Do we show his pupil and we go in and you see the pupil do the whatever? And then it's like, I guess, or he just says, I see something really small.
we could we could save that money and make a good funny line out of it.
Well, it's also just from the knowing how the sausage is made. Right. And again, everything costs different amounts of money now. But just when I go back and I know what the budget was for certain things, and then when I'm just like, you guys didn't have the $800 to spend right there, but then it's like, yeah, you did. Like where it's like it literally would come down to like, oh, we can do a wire removal for like $400, but we can't do the car crashing through the wall. That's okay because we still got to have like cool stuff happening, and you have to get the train out of the station. But just knowing how much all of those things cost, especially at the time, where you're just like, I can't believe we're removing all of this other stuff to have this, or we're like it happens with all TV production. But specifically knowing like how much a heat vision shot costs, then in $2009, like I can only imagine what Superman and Lois costs.
I think about $2006 and going to a whole new network that doesn't even really want you, and that actively tries to watch your demise over a couple seasons, and how, even in the second episode of that season, there's a new ability. That's what he gets.
Sneeze.
Super breath, and we have to work on how to develop that moving forward. And that's in the back half. Yeah. That's the second half of the
and series. we used super breath so very much.
Mm-hmm. Was that a cost factor? I would assume, but
I mean, yes and no, because it was more like I believe, if I remember at the time, Tom was like, I look stupid doing this.
Well, Tom,
it's like, we can't.
Tom, you look stupid doing a lot of it.
Yeah, we can't say you're wrong, Tom. Like any of us who tries to do that, like just like blow, like it's just a weird thing.
I mean, the heat. You don't look great. A whole lot better doing the heat vision. Nobody would, but just hit them with the stare. But yeah, I think about those a lot because I was explaining this to Ryan the other day because he's never watched the show. Like he's watching it for the first time as they're doing these episodes on the podcast. So they're just getting into. I think they just finished season 5, so they're just getting to season 6. And but I mean, they're going. They're not having 3-month breaks and. All this. I mean,
you're going straight through.
Straight through it. You don't feel the changes as much. If you watch a season 6 episode and you drop back into season 2, you're like, holy hell, this has changed drastically from what I remember.
Even the jump to HD between because we went digital for season 8.
Yeah,
season 7 was the last year that they shot on film.
Yeah,
and then in season 8 it was all HD. And you can kind of see it every now and then in specifically the first few episodes of season 8, where because it was new, HD was new for everybody, so like the same makeup didn't work.
Yeah,
like you couldn't hide blemishes the same way shooting digital because we'd get dailies back, and you're like, why does his skin have a green patch on it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like because that's how that makeup reacts with the light under this new scrutiny of the amazing HD cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the red? I wouldn't say it was the red that we had, but at the time.
That's why Hartley
was a huge.
That's why Hartley came back as a cast member. Like he's pretty. We'll just put him on everything.
Well, and green looks good on him.
Green looks good on screen and digital.
Tracker.
You kind of get to be in a fun spot though, because while coming in and working behind the scenes 5, 6, and 7, you were poised to be a part of the new team as 8 started, and with everything that you guys lost with 7. So
because Alan Miles Goff and Miller were kind of, and they were very busy at the time.
Yeah.
With lots of other stuff. Side note, I was there during the strike because I was one of the assistants who was just kept on because production was still happening. Like we couldn't write, but there were still 3 episodes that were owed to the network. So there was still like an extra month of The Office being open, I think. But I was there, and Alan Miles's assistant was there when like this coffin thing showed up. It was just like this big wooden, and we're like, we signed for it, and we're like, it's for Alan Miles. But what is it? How do we get it to their home office? Like, we don't know. And so we had to get a crowbar from maintenance to see what it was. And I'd never used a crowbar before. And you opened it like a Dracula thing, like in Last of the Demeter, like you went through and did the thing. And it was one of the from the Mummy 3. It was one of the clay soldiers from
Oh.
the set, the terracotta warriors or whatever. But it was like a full size, like it was like a coffin. Like it was this thing in the hay, inside of the box.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of.
If that thing had moved.
But then we know there's this thing there, the statue laying in the hay in this open crate
Yeah.
in this empty office where you're just like at the front desk, like, and it's there. And so, like, if it were to like weeping angel at me, I wouldn't have known. But before the weeping angels, but no, like that time, I think I also characterized that time too with it was a weird thing transitionally because there was that strike right before all of that happened too.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of the last, the creators regime kind of faded out, and then the kids essentially who had been brought up on the show from like season 2, I think, were now in charge. Having that break in the middle was just a very strange thing to witness from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
just because you're like, oh, that's how things are done now, and that's how things are done. But it wasn't like there was a moment of like, all right, guys, here we go.
Right.
Here's the breaking of the champagne. There was just this emptiness,
Right.
and then we all came back to work, and it worked differently.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see.
I mean, in it working differently because obviously it was members of the same family, but obviously,
Yes.
In your first episode was Committed, which is, right? Committed.
Committed, yes.
Committed,
I
excuse
was so we can talk about that. I was so angry about that being my first one because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the kissy guy now, like just like little like stupid, like my first time out, and this is my first TV writing thing. And I'm a kissy guy, but then you get into it, and you're like, oh no, okay, no, I'm doing a lot of what I want to do here. Okay, like.
But we're how far removed from that now? 16 years?
Yeah. No, I love it. Like, I'm not.
But like I'm saying, everybody, like anybody that watches it now, and that's something I want to talk to you about too. Because of all these new people finding the show recently, that scene between Clark and Lois, that scene gets quoted and utilized and referenced.
I saw it on TikTok the other day. It was crazy.
There you go. Like, how does that feel? I mean, to have a huge Chloe
it's just
moment.
crazy. It's crazy. But no, at the time, and it's just an interesting, because like you're starting your career and you don't like you just don't want to be backed into one corner, right? And so one of the great things with when you had 22 episode seasons of a show like that, you could have like in my first season, I had the kind of rom-com-y first episode that I did. Then I had season to taste whether or not it was executed properly. The criminal conspiracy, the crooked cops episode, and then
I love Bulletproof.
And then I got to do a DC one. I got to do Zatanna after that, right? So it was so there was a chance to do all sorts of different things. Where I think now, like on a show where if it's an 8 episode thing or it's serialized, like you don't really get to like try your chops at different kinds of things with the same characters, which was something I learned very much too. Which when you're watching TV all the time, I think you, especially then, because every show was like that, you don't really appreciate it as much.
Right.
But like in being able to do it and kind of just like get my hands into all of those kinds of things. Like it was a fantastic learning experience for like, this is how you do and don't do, like, and then having to take the same characters through the different genres in those different shows where you're like, yes, you're still going to have, I wish I had Lois in Bulletproof, but I didn't, but you're still going to have Clark and the main players in the cop conspiracy one that you had in the rom-com one.
Right.
And so can you write them enough of the same way? Like it's just it's a very good way to just kind of learn how to stick with a character, I guess, and just kind of thread them through different situations to see how they would act or react or any of that stuff. And you don't get to do that as much anymore.
I do think it's funny you mentioned watching that seeing it on TikTok the other day. I feel like anytime anybody tags us in a Clark and Lois in a Clois edit or a video like that, it's always there. Like, I mean, and it's not just it's stuff that's not even just Smallville. I mean, you'll see all kinds of different iterations and franchises and stuff in there of those two characters played by different people. But I feel like that one is a stalemate. I mean, it's always there.
I mean, look, I'm too close to it to be like, yeah, it is, and it belongs there. But like, it was like to me, from that episode, honestly, a bigger and they pulled that moment off fantastic. So like, just like actor wise, too, Erica and Tom like crushed that back and forth. It's a very tricky moment to try and pull off. But for me, and I can't reach it. It's up on my wall. I've got the frame thing of them in the elevator. Mm-hmm. At the end of the episode, mm-hmm. when he's statistically it's the safer way to travel. Like that to me was my moment of like, okay, there I got to do a Superman thing. Yeah. There we go.
I'll do your kissy thing, but there's a cost.
I'll do your kissies, but yes. And I love the kissies, and so it's not an issue because I'm a grown up and I'm a professional. I do all of that stuff now. But at the time, you can't help but I couldn't help but rankle a little bit at like the. And then what's mine going to be?
Yeah.
My episode it's the jeweler, and he's got kryptonite in his jewels, and
on paper,
lie detectors.
On paper, it would sound like a Lois and Clark episode. If you just read the log line, you'd be like, okay.
Fox had a lie detector show at the time.
Was that lie to me? Was that
No, not the Tim Roth thing. They had like a reality show where it was and so that was ref, but like, what's our twist on it so that we're not blatantly stealing from the Fox reality show?
Right.
And so it was that it shocks you, like, if you lie, right? So if you tell the truth, and that's what this guy really wants. But no, it was, like, I think of, like, if I think of my moments that are like my Lois and Clark moments from the show that stick with me, like, and they had a lot of good stuff in the early seasons and some awkward stuff in the early seasons with them too, before we got to season 8. But that dunk tank, I think, has got to be anytime I see it, it's essentially the same as the Tom Holland umbrella dance. I'm just like, oh, this is.
I have to watch the whole thing.
I have to watch the whole thing. It's just Avril Lavigne comes on the radio in the car and it's that song. I'm like, we gotta listen to the whole thing because now I know that moment is when they force the slow mo. And Allison's face drops.
Yeah.
And she realizes, oh no, what have I done?
A friend said the other day that they got to they were working and Avril Lavigne came in their store and said it was very difficult not to be like, look, I need to talk to you about your song. and the way it was implemented in one perfect scene of the series.
And that's the weird thing too with like we're talking about with the kissy stuff and the genre changes and whatever. Like as a viewer, as a writer, as all of that stuff, that's what I remember more about all of those episodes is whenever we got to pull off those moments, like that would stick with you more than like, what episode was that in?
Right.
Yeah, kryptonite plastic surgery.
Right. Yeah. when you pull back the veil of
Lana was convinced. Kristen Krug was convinced she had body dysmorphia and she was going to get plastic surgery from the evil kryptonite plastic surgeon. But
it's like you said when there's 22 episodes.
you gotta fill it. Yeah. You gotta fill time.
Yeah.
Like. You know, like 7, 11, and like 17 are going to be dogs. Like you just know that that's going to happen. And so you do your best to clean the dog up as much as you can and make the dog presentable.
Yeah, yes.
Because you have other things to deal with.
Yes, there's a writer's strike. Yes, everybody's leaving. The network does want 3 more episodes, so Jimmy probably should be a secret agent at this point.
Dude, look.
We don't have the money. We don't have the money to show Kara's Fortress, so we're gonna make
and this was I really enjoy this. That was I distinctly remember with that episode. I want to say that one was just me and Caroline in like the small writers room, kind of like because the general beats were out, but what we would do at the time was you would on the we'd have like four giant like 48 feet of whiteboards where you
Right.
would write out the whole outline. And the network would agree to that, and then there was just no, it was measured twice, cut once. Like it was, that's what we're doing, and that's what the show is. And so I got to, which was very kind of Caroline too. But since it was just the two of us, like I got to make a lot of suggestions. We got to bounce a lot of stuff back and forth. Like the whole, they were all really good about that. But I do, like you say, like Jimmy as the secret agent, and I'm like, yeah, but also like I was watching a lot of Alias at the time. And it was
Yeah.
cool to do like secret agent stuff.
They're
Like there
fun
was,
episodes. There's not,
yes,
you know, we've talked. There's only one episode of the entire series I would call bad, in my opinion. But no, and it's even then it's still fun. Like I don't think that there is a really bad episode of them. There's some of them that are more obviously memorable. But it's like you said, you'll have a fantastic the dunk scene in the middle of at the end of Facade, Devoted, whichever one that was. I always go back and forth. But there's so many. I mean, one of my favorite hours of the series is Hidden. I think it's one of the best episodes of the entire show.
yes.
You've got so many different things going on in it.
He's punching up. You get the big moment. He's punching up the rocket.
I mean,
yeah.
that's Flight, in my opinion. I don't care who says otherwise. And then obviously the Dishwalla thing. You've got Jonathan Kent saying into the phone, "The hospital lost our son," which is the funniest line from the entire show. I think the way he delivers that. But at its core, it's kind of it's an anti Freak of the Week of the episode, kind of because of the antagonist. It's not that plot of it is really not that memorable. Him and Chloe down in the missile silo. You don't remember those parts of it, but all that other fantastic stuff. Frickin' Glover playing Brando in the Fortress. With the hands up on the thing, his Jor-El. I mean, there's so many good moments in episodes that you would kind of be like, oh, it was from that one. I forgot it was in that, and that happens a lot.
Well, and I think there are rare certain times where the the occurrence, not the occurrence, the frequency with which those moments were able to occur, be pulled off every now and then can happen so close together that you end up like with a season 9 where you're just like in there where you're like, oh, and we get to do this and we get to do this and they can do that. And like, yes, he's brooding, but he's got the ass on his chest. And we got to go to like the trench warfare on Krypton. Like there was all kinds of stuff that we got to do that, like for me creatively and just even watching, I'm like, oh no, I really, with like rare moment exceptions, like I really like season 9 a lot. And season 9 was a ton of fun and very satisfying and rewarding to like build and break and put together. And 8 was in a way too, but 9, I think we had enough of the elements of what made the show, because 9 was much more about heritage and legacy, and him grappling with the shield on his chest, and like, do I tell Lois the secret? And like there was so much stuff in there that was really good. Like we talked about, to circle back, like the tenets of Superman stuff. Like even if it was a more broody season, it at least I think had more of those, like, I am Superman.
Yes.
This is Lois. Like more of those dilemmas of everything.
I mean, when you've got the two of them sitting across from each other at the planet, and then he's going off, and there's a shirt rip, or he's the S on the. I mean, you can't deny that.
Yeah.
And that 9 is phenomenal. 9 is one I go back to that I haven't revisited the latter half of the show much since it went off the air. And so in kind of going back through these as we're watching through again, and feeling my bones ache when I'm like, oh, this was 21 years ago this year, whatever, this month, or just feeling absolutely ancient because I'm like, I remember where. I feel like Grandpa Simpson sitting on the hill. I remember where I was. Yeah, I remember where I was.
You ate the lemons and you liked them.
I remember where I was when fake Kara showed up and Clark was in the wall.
Adriana Pilecki. You need something done, you get Adriana Pilecki.
She's tried and true every time. So
is she a mermaid this time? Is she a super person?
Is she dead on the ceiling with in flames?
She was in. I forgot, and I forgot because my oldest, we watched John Wick. He got to watch John
Oh
Wick for the
yeah,
first
yeah,
time a
yeah.
couple weekends ago, and she's in there, and I'm just like, oh yeah, there you are again.
Well,
Okay, like it just
Wes and I are watching Friday Night Lights for the first time,
yep,
and I was like, yep,
yep.
yep, forget. You just show up. You're just there.
How's she doing? How's she doing with that? What's her? How's she riding the dial with the Taylor Kitsch?
We're not far. We're only about 5 in. We just finished.
Is she a street boy or is she a Taylor Kitsch
I don't know.
boy?
I
Which
don't
way
know where
does she?
she's at yet. I think.
Oh, she's not a Landry, is she?
She's not
No
a
offense,
Landry.
Landry.
No, she's
Okay.
not a Landry. I think the she didn't see the injury coming in the first one, and I was like, it was
Well,
it was all over
okay.
the wall, sweetheart. You
Yeah.
should have known that was coming down the pipeline.
But it's a really rich story for him, so it's a good
So, but then I see her come on the screen, and I'm like, we could probably skip season 2 and not miss a beat.
yeah.
I know we've talked about this before, but just for those listening, because sometimes I forget people are listening. Talking about things you got to do versus what you didn't get to do. What are some elements that you were that got cut that you were like, obviously you have to kill your darlings, but what hurt that you lost out on more than once?
I mean, it's hard because like a lot of the kinds of stuff I lost out on, I was able because I was fortunate enough to get to keep going with the comic, right? So I still got to like, in a way, like complete the sentence for myself in lots of ways with stuff. But like we texted about this the other day. The female JLA, the lady JLA episode. I was really looking forward to, and we had started breaking that, and it didn't happen. But it was Kara and Lois and Zatanna, and I want to say we had the Wonder Twin back in it, and it was a lot of fun. Just kind of being able to put those characters together that we had played with individually was promising. It was a lot, of fun.
Was that just a question of time?
Away. It was a little bit of time.
Was that back half of season 10?
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been. It probably would have been around the Matrix episode. It would have been around.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Whatever it was.
Was that Collateral?
Jordan's, Collateral. Yeah. And so it was one that was like kind of conceived in the first half of the season when we were breaking stuff, and then just how the story went. Like you couldn't once we had them all VRA captured, excuse me, and part of this episode really hinged on, well, why do Kara and Lois and Zatanna and everyone have to come together? It's because the guys are knocked out and taken out of commission. Collateral was all about them all being taken out of commission. And so you can only do so many of those episodes, especially when you only have like 10 episodes of the show left. Because we all knew that we were going to do a 2-part finale. So you only had so much runway left before you had to take off. And so that was just one of those that did not need to happen, because suddenly in a world where we had 22, 24 episode seasons, you did not have enough time.
Well,
in that last season,
I mean, and you get to that final season, you're like, okay, we get to go out on the way we intend. We're not going to get the rug pulled out from up under us or anything.
That's right.
And you're still trying to get to the end of the line, trying to make everything fit, and there was so much to fit in that last year. But you did. You got to go on with season 11 and pull elements in that you wanted to, and obviously there were restrictions and things that didn't happen there as well that still befuddle me to this day, and we don't have to get into those on here. But
we do not.
That was Valkyrie. The that you were talking about, that it was going to be, and was that going to end up going to be the same storyline there to a degree? I mean, maybe not the on location shooting, but
no. It was much. We're still using all of our sets and stuff.
Yeah.
I just really then liked the name, and then was like Lana.
Yeah.
And so that So the spirit of it, but we suddenly, and that was the great thing too about the comic was when they're like, and every like 4th issue we're gonna have to like run something staggered off so that we can keep with the weekly delivery schedule. So we'd have to have different stories being drawn by different people at different times. and doing it in one kind of serialized continuity, then we were able to do the parallel stuff, which let us, which especially with limited page space too, dig in and like, oh, I get to do a Lois story now.
Mm-hmm.
I get to go do a Lana story now, or I get to do Zatanna and Constantine story, or like whatever I was doing. That was still a chance where they weren't quite enough to fill up what would have been 120 pages, which kind of the main episodes had to be, the 30 times 4. But it at least gave me a chance to like dip into some different pools.
When you were writing those before any had even hit hit digitally or in print yet, and that was something we talked about a lot is playing with those action figures in that sandbox and how you were able to bring those into the fold of something that would have not ever been allowed by DC or Warner on screen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You talk about Wonder Woman and getting to use her for Olympus, and
so excited. I was so excited.
As something that didn't end up happening in the final season, so you were able to tell that story there.
Well, and that was not, and that was all just my own little take on it, just trying to weave through everything because with the place the series ended too, you had so many. We had churned through so many things like Checkmate, where you're just like, okay, so if we're in that same universe now, but 2 years on, right? Like certainly if we're going to bring Diana in now versus then, right? How would we do it differently now and line it up with different pieces? So that's why we did the DEO and the Power Vacuum after Checkmate and all that stuff. But Martha Kent being a senator, like it was a very fun way, not just to bring like other DC characters in the comic, but also to like go to Russia for an arc in the snow, like in Alien, and go uncover a monitor ship with Lex and Clark. It was a very fun way to kind of get out of the triangle, the 3-block set. Like, oh, we're going to go over here and do a story now. We're going to go over here and do a story now. And so it was nice to have that breathing room as well.
I love Lantern still, and when watching the trailer yesterday, as soon as he crash landed the snow, the first thing that popped in my head was him crashing into the fortress. The bubble coming out of the fortress, just damn. That's still one of my favorite panels through the whole run. And I think you had some phenomenal people, obviously, on the art side of that, and of course Kat Staggs and everyone that was involved.
Kat did all our covers.
Yeah, and I still absolutely love that run and what you were able to do with it and put a nice little bow on the end of the show for fans.
But then there's another bow, right? There's a bow on top of the bow because then in Crisis he came back.
He came back, yeah. If that was him.
Was it? We'll never know. We'll never know.
Even now, Tom says, I don't know if that was Mike Clark or not.
In a multiverse scenario where infinity is possible, then there could be more than one universe where the Smallville theme is associated with the Smallville water tower, and there is an Erica Durant looking Lois and a Tom Welling looking Clark on the exact same farm because it's infinity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You can multiply it by whatever, and then
in one they're all horses. That's just how it.
And that's the one I want to see. that's if this movie bombs, that's what we need to pivot to.
My little Clarky.
We just need to try something else entirely different because it's not working. Somebody's not getting things right at this point.
But I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. Selfishly, I hope there is a Fortress of Solitude Lego set so that I can build a Fortress of Solitude out of Legos. Because the Batman movie got to have all the good toys when they did Lego Batman.
It did.
And I think Soups has earned his due of playsets. So
did you see the Fortress? We didn't text about this yesterday. Have you seen the Fortress?
Coming up out of the snow, they show it.
No, like there's the DC shop's got T-shirts with it now, and it's like it's like the Fortress exploded from the ground. Like, well, I mean, obviously that's what it does anyway.
Like a geode. Like it's out. Like
I don't even know how to. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute. But it's like this prism that grew that just expanded out. So it's not the Donner looking structure so much as it is. I don't even know what you would call it. It looks totally. I mean, it's a basic crystallized sculpture.
Oh yeah. I see it.
I don't know what you would.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I like that with the black on the black too. That's pretty cool.
I don't even know what you would call it. Yeah, there was that one shot of it in the trailer that looked like it was forming, and I was like, I figured we were past that.
No, but that's dope. I like that a lot.
So maybe that's where crypto's taking him.
Well, and now I'm painfully aware also that I don't. It's been like 15 years since I've had an S Shield shirt. So
it's time.
Like maybe I need to get a Superman shirt again. I don't know.
Yeah.
What? They got Batman Beyond hoodie on here.
They got everything.
What?
What's fun about some of these things is now that when we were kids, now that the people are in charge, or they're like, all right, we're going to have all the stuff that we wanted that we didn't get back then, and now we'll make that available for everybody.
God damn.
Because half the stuff, half the Superman stuff in the DC shop, I'm like, yeah, I wish I'd had that 15 years ago.
If there hadn't been a writer's strike, Derek, I could get so many of these hoodies. But the writer's strike.
And the ring. All the hoodies and the ring.
Hoodies first, then the ring.
Then the ring.
Then the ring.
Which should be the priority. I agree.
I hear, and this isn't a metaphor for my feet hurting, I hear my literal dog barking to go outside. So I do think I have to peel away to go let him out so he doesn't soil the carpets.
That is good. Tell people where you can find him. Where you can find you, that is.
Where you can find me.
Yeah.
I am over. I'm not doing the Twitter anymore. I'm about to nuke that one and delete it. So I'm just over on Blue Sky. Yeah. So just Bryan Q Miller at however you do a Blue Sky handle. Yeah. I'm over there.
Yeah.
I'm on Threads. Threads is really boring. I'm not enjoying being on Threads.
It's such a different world than it was 15 years ago.
It really is. And then my Instagram's private, so leave me alone. Don't it's just the Blue Sky. I think just the Blue Sky and off of the Blue Sky. My little shop where I make stupid little shirts that nobody buys, and I'm going to keep making them. I've just been busy the last month, but I got some ideas.
Yeah,
I got some ideas.
Things are percolating.
This percolation. You'll see. Give me some New Year time. You might get two offerings in the shop that you can not buy in January. It'll be great.
I'm going to buy them. I want to buy the ones that they removed.
No, that's another shop though. Maybe I can get those ones. That's already work done.
There you go.
Ooh,
ahead of the game.
All right.
Ahead of the game. All right.
No wasted effort. All right.
Bryan, thank you for joining us. Of course, you can find us online at all the places you always find us for the House of L, and we will see you next time.
All right. Thanks, brother.